We're joined here on the Colour of Country Life Flow FM with another of our friends from Meat and Livestock Australia. It's Sarah Strachan, Group Manager of Adoption and Commercialisation. How are you, Sarah?
Well, thanks, Ricky.
And we are looking at this topic of just what we call meat, a bit of consistency we're looking for here. Just what are you targeting?
Well, this is a first for the industry. There's lots of information in lots of different places that describe cattle and all the various features of cattle. But for the very first time, we've put it into one place. So we've picked the best parts of all the information that's out there, and we've got now a set of guidelines that are available for the entire industry and everybody that participates in it to really help have really clear communication about describing cattle. And so when producers are selling cattle or trading cattle, they'll be able to talk in a common language and everyone knows exactly what they're going to get.
Now, I started to think you're talking about the best cuts there of the information you've got. We're not necessarily talking about what we describe, the cuts or pieces of the meat, but the actual cattle themselves. Is that because there can be sometimes a little bit of, unhappiness around maybe what people are saying they're selling and it's not exactly what it is?
See, we've got such a diverse cattle production system across Australia that we can have different ways of describing the various features of animals, from the north to the south to the west. And so where this has landed we've done a huge amount of consultation across the whole country as well to make sure that we are getting everybody's feedback and understanding how everyone does it a little bit differently, is to land in a place where this looks like it'll suit most.
So help our listeners out a bit without pointing fingers or naming names. Just an example of where the naming can cause a little bit of misunderstanding.
I think just a different way, a good example would be how we describe age of animals, and that can be quite different depending on where you are in the country. And they're all correct, but we have to take into consideration that in southern systems, our animals are handled a lot more often, and it's even possible that the birth date of an animal be collected. Whereas in our northern production systems, where those animals might only be mustered once or twice a year, then we also have to accommodate how to describe animals when we might only be seeing them within a season or within a few months of their birth date as well.
And so where is this resource, and I guess where is it going to provide the most practical help for our cattle producers?
So this is going to be housed at AusMeat, who are the custodians of all the standards that are in our red meat industry. And we'll keep reviewing this. This is a living document because no doubt as technology advances, we'll have new ways of assessing animals using technology. So we'll keep updating this as things evolve. And this will be, I think, the best example I can think of where people can get started using this is that when they're transacting cattle, whether it might be on an online auction platform or even through agents or direct to processors or other customers, is they can actually using this document to start describing animals in a really uniform way.
So is it conceivable there might be, say, an MLA, like a citation there that this particular animal they're selling meets the description that's being used as the consistent model of understanding what the cattle age is, for instance?
Yeah, it absolutely could be used as a reference document for sure. And I'd like to think that even our agents and processors might refer our producers to that document as well.
And do you expect that there might be some sort of enforcement when it comes to sale yards or online auction sites about, I guess, if people have misdescribed according to this code, or would it really be more about, I guess, a conversation about, well, hang on, this is not quite fitting what the guide is telling us?
Yeah, so these are a set of guidelines, not a set of standards to be enforced at all. We would like to think they just make sense. So through voluntary adoption, we'd have most people using them.
Sarah, is there anything more you just want to share with us about, I guess, how this code came together and, I guess, the resources that were deployed to make it happen?
Well, it is actually an action out of, there was a beef language review white paper that was published in 2017, and it had a whole lot of recommendations in it, and one of those was about getting the livestock language to start talking from how we describe meat to the consumer that's buying beef, back to what the producer does on farm. And so that's where this was born out of. And it has taken a few years because there is so much information out there here in Australia and around the world, and we do things so differently around the country. So it has been quite an effort, and led by MLA, but used an independent expert group that spanned the whole supply chain to to get to this point.
And I imagine that this doesn't touch on maybe, you know, when you come to things like a brand like Limousin or Angus, it doesn't go into that area. This is more about, I guess, the age and method of breeding the cattle.
It does have a section on breed, but it's simply about how you would describe the breed if you were communicating it to the next person.
All right. Well, Sarah, thanks so much for joining us today and laying that out for our producers. And we're looking forward to sharing that with our listeners across the broadcast areas of Flow FM. Thanks again for joining us.
Thanks, Ricky.